A presentation on the topic ferrous and non-ferrous metals and alloys, in which the subtopic we are going to discuss is the cast iron, along with the introduction, composition of cast iron, properties and types, and in each type let us discuss in detail. So myself M. Kiran Kumar, MTech, CL Mechanical Engineering, Government Polytechnic, Kataram. So as we have discussed, the topics to be covered once again, the introduction about cast iron, composition and properties of cast iron, the carbon content in cast iron, along with the classification of cast iron. So after classification of cast iron, let us have a discussion on the types of cast iron in very detail. So that is starting with gray cast iron, white cast iron, spheroidal cast iron, malleable cast iron, etc. So let us start with the classification of cast iron. So in the classification, nothing but the cast iron. Let us move to the introduction of cast iron first. So coming to the cast iron, what it is. So cast iron is an alloy of carbon and iron. So cast iron refers to the family of ferrous metals in the cast form. So the name indicates that cast iron means the iron form suitable for a casting process. So cast iron refers to the family of ferrous metal, nothing but the iron containing iron content, but suitable for mostly casting process. So the classification can be made on based on metallographic structure. So classification can be made on 4 variables, maybe depending on 4 variables. So the 4 variables of cast iron. So the carbon content first. So having 2 to 6.67 percentage. So depending upon carbon content, also we can classify the cast iron. So depending upon alloys and impurity content, also we can classify the cast iron. And depending upon the cooling rate during and after freezing, depending upon this factor also we can classify cast iron. Along with that, the type of heat treatment process used for casting the cast iron, depending upon this factor also we can classify the cast iron. So let us see the composition of cast iron first. Composition of the carbon is 2.5 to 3.7 percentage. Coming to the silicon, it is 1 to 3 percentage, and the manganese of 0.5 to 1 percentage. Phosphorus, it is 0.1 to 0.9 percentage. Sulfur, it is 0.07 to 0.1 percentage. So here the other factor is low melting point, approximately should be of 1140 to 1200 degrees centigrade. So the cast iron should have some of the properties like low melting point and high fluidity. High fluidity means the flow in the, since we are using it in cast iron, since we are using the cast iron in casting process, the high fluidity enables the molten metal to flow into the cavity very easily to form a casted part. So the low shrinkage on cooling. So mainly in the casting process or molding process, the shrinkage will be a major problem. So the metal, the cast iron should have low shrinkage on cooling. So this is one of the factor. Better corrosion and wear resistance than steel. So it has better corrosion and wear resistance than steel means. So commonly, whenever we use it, this particular cast part in any of the machine or any as a sub part, then we need to check the wear resistance. And coming to the corrosion, because of the atmospheric effect, it will should not affect the particular working condition. Coming to the high compression strength. High compression strength means whenever you compress a specimen of cast iron, it should have high compression strength. More and more compression strength is required to compress that particular cast iron. High damping capacity. So the energy absorbing capacity is the high damping capacity. So that should be high. Casting soundness. The casting soundness means that particular cast iron should be suitable for the casting process. That is known as casting soundness. Easy of production. So the cast iron should be much easy whenever we are heating and pouring into the cavity. The total process should be user friendly or easy for production. So now let us move to the disadvantages of the cast iron. So first thing is brittleness. Because of the brittleness, cast iron is not suitable for most of the components. It cannot be forged or hardened. So it is weak in tensile strength. So now let us move to the relative damping capacity of steel and iron along with the diagram. So the damping capacity, what it is actually, just now we were discussing. So the damping capacity is the ability of a material to absorb energy by converting mechanical energy into heat. So that is for a particular material. Now we are discussing the relative damping capacity of steel and iron. So this is the steel damping capacity, and this is a nodular iron, and this is gray iron along with the time as well as the amplitude. So these are the peaks available for the steel and for nodular iron, and this is for gray iron. So now let us move to the production of cast iron. How the cast iron is produced. The cast iron is produced by remelting the pig iron in the following furnaces. Not only single time, so already prepared pig iron is again remelted. So what is pig iron? Pig iron is a product. Pig iron is a product output of blast furnace, in which the pig iron will be the product produced, and which is from the iron ore. Iron ore, we are producing the pig iron using blast furnace, and then this particular pig iron is remelted in one of the given furnaces. Let us see. First is cupola furnace, second cupola and electric furnaces for melting, not only melting, for refining, nothing but duplexing melting method. So the refining method is known as duplexing melting method, the remelting. So coming to the electric furnace for high quality cast iron. So the electric furnace for high quality cast iron. So cupola is widely used in foundries. Next, let us move to the existing form of carbon in cast iron. So the carbon will be existing in cast iron in the following forms. The first form is the free form, nothing but the free carbon, or otherwise known as the graphite form. The graphite form, the cast iron will be existing, nothing but the carbon will be existing in the cast iron. So next is combined carbon. Combined carbon means it is known as cementite. So next, let us have a discussion about the graphite. The existence of graphite in cast iron. So what is the purpose of graphite used in cast iron is the existence of graphite in cast iron makes it soft and easily machinable. Easily machinable means the ability of machining process. So cementite. The existence of cementite in cast iron makes it very hard, brittle, and almost unmachinable. So these are the two forms, free carbon form and a combined carbon form, or otherwise known as graphite and cementite. So the graphite is easily machinable, whereas cementite is not machinable, and graphite is soft, whereas cast iron is hard as well as brittle. Now let us move to the various types of the cast iron. How the cast iron will be forming into different forms of cast iron. So here, whenever the cast iron is cooled quickly, so it is known as white cast iron. And whenever the same cast iron is cooled slowly, it is called as gray cast iron. And in the white cast iron, carbon present as cementite. So whenever the word cementite comes, so the carbon content, nothing but the, depending upon the carbon content, that particular part or specimen will be unmachinable. So since it is hard, brittle, and very difficult to machine. Whereas coming to the gray cast iron, the carbon present as flake graphite, soft, easily machinable. And these two, white cast iron and gray cast iron, whenever heat treated, becomes malleable irons. And coming to the gray cast iron, uh, inculate inoculated, nothing but addition of magnesium. Whenever the magnesium is added to gray cast iron, it becomes nodular and spheroidal cast iron. So this is the categorization of cast irons. So let us move to the classification of cast irons, the types of cast irons. So the first one, gray cast iron. Second is white cast iron. Third is malleable cast iron. Fourth is spheroidal cast iron, along with chilled cast iron and alloy cast iron. So let us have a look of the topics. Nothing but the classification of cast iron, gray cast iron, white cast iron, malleable cast iron, spheroidal, chilled, and alloy cast irons. Totally 6 types of cast irons are available. So now let us move to the first type of cast iron known as gray cast iron. Coming to the gray cast iron, let us see what are the factors concerned with the gray cast iron. So carbon present in the form of graphite flakes in gray cast iron. So the graphite flakes form, the carbon is present. And the fracture has a gray appearance. When a fracture is there, it appears as a gray color. Gray cast irons are hypoeutectic alloys having 2.5 to 4% of carbon. And it also possesses high torsional shear strength. So now let us move to the composition. Coming to the composition, carbon is of 2.8 to 3.6% of carbon is available, whereas silicon percentage is 1 to 2.7%. And coming to the manganese, manganese is of 0.4 to 1%, and phosphorus is 0.1 to 1.0%, nothing but 0.1 to 1. Sulfur has a percentage of 0.06 to 0.12%. So now let us move to the microstructure of gray cast iron. So these are the space models. Now let us move to the microstructure of gray cast iron. So these are the graphite flakes and the graphite flakes of carbon, and the rest is iron. The rest is totally iron. These are the graphite flakes. So coming to the representation of cast iron, gray cast iron especially. So here this is the representation. So these are the shapes formed, and this is the flakes of so these are the flakes of graphite. The rest is iron. So this is the iron and this is the graphite flakes in different curved form. So coming to the properties of gray cast iron. So it is fairly soft and readily machinable. Coming to the GI or gray cast iron. So it is GCI, gray CI. So fairly soft and easily or readily machinable. So it has the ability to machine or for suitable for machining process. Next, it has a low tensile strength, high compressive strength. So the high compressive strength is more and tensile strength is less. Coming to the melting point, it has good fluidity and low melting point. Whenever it has low melting point, so nothing but at high temperature it melts. So then we can say that it has good fluidity property. Until it reaches higher and higher temperature, it will be flowing smoothly in a particular cavity. Excellent damping capacity. Coming to the damping capacity we have discussed, it is the ability of a material to absorb energy, changing mechanical energy into heat. So this particular gray cast iron has excellent damping capacity. Poor shock absorbing capacity, nothing but poor shock absorbers is a gray cast iron. So coming to the graphite flakes provides lubrication effect to reduce friction. Graphite flakes provides lubrication effect to reduce friction. So this gray cast iron is suitable for machine tool beds. So coming to the machines, lathe, shaper, slaughter, etc. Any of the machine, it is suitable for machine tool beds. So coming to the applications of gray cast iron. Coming to the applications, light and integrate castings. This gray cast iron material is used. So various types of shafts, different sized various types of shafts, we can use this gray cast iron material. Elevators and industrial furnace doors, for these also gray cast iron is suitable. Cylinder blocks for automobile engines. Coming to the cylindrical blocks for automobile engines, in automobile engines, cylinder blocks can be manufactured using this gray cast iron. So coming to the brake drums and various machine parts, also this gray cast iron is suitable. So now let us move to the white cast iron. So coming to the introduction of white cast iron. The carbon present in the form of cementite, and it is obtained by rapid cooling of iron. So containing low silicon and high manganese. So white cast irons are hypoeutectoid steels, nothing but the hypoeutectoid alloys, 2.5% of carbon. Coming to the composition of white cast iron, what are the compositions? Let us have a look. Carbon is of 2.9%. and silicon of 1.15 percentage, and manganese 0.6 percentage, phosphorus 0.15 percentage, sulfur 0.5 percentage. So this is the microstructure of white cast iron. This is the pearlite, nothing but this is the cementite. So cementite and pearlite combination. So this is the cementite form in white cast iron. So the white cast iron microstructure indication or diagram is given by this structure. So now let us move to the properties of white cast iron. So it has a fracture has a white appearance. So in the previous gray cast iron, the fracture was in gray color, and here the fracture has a white appearance. And it is very hard and brittle. It is unmachinable and cannot be welded even. It is not suitable for structural works. Coming to the applications where it is suitable. Used in the areas where we require wear resistant surfaces. For wear resistant surfaces, this particular white cast iron is suitable. It is suitable, white cast iron is also suitable for rollers, for crushers, and suitable for rim of freight car wheels, railway brake blocks, liners for cement mixtures, ball mills, extrusion nozzles, raw material for malleable cast iron. So coming to the applications, we are discussing for wear resistance surfaces, rollers in crushers, rim in freight car wheels, railway brake blocks, liners for cement mixtures, ball mills, extrusion nozzles, and as a raw material for malleable cast iron also, this white cast iron is suitable. So coming to the third category of cast iron, spheroidal cast iron. So coming to the introduction, what it is, carbon in the form of graphite is in the form of spherical or nodular shape. So that's why this spheroidal cast iron name is given. So coming to the formation of spherical graphites is due to the addition of magnesium to the molten gray cast iron. So whenever we add magnesium to the molten gray cast iron, so the spherical graphites are formed. So this particular spheroidal cast iron is also known for the ductile or nodular gray cast iron. So it is also known as ductile gray cast iron or nodular gray cast iron. So coming to the other properties, it possesses good machinability, means it's suitable for machining process, and a damping capacity and castability. Damping capacity is nothing but the ability of absorbing the energy, changing the mechanical energy into heat. So that is damping capacity, and castability, the ability to cast, nothing but the ability for casting process, suitability for casting process. Next is the ductility is better than the gray cast iron. Nothing but the ductile or the spherical cast iron is suitable for a gray cast iron. Suitable, nothing but it is better than the gray cast iron. So nickel may also be added as an alloying element to increase the strength and hardness. Coming to the composition, carbon of 3 to 3.5 percentage, silicon of 2 to 2.5 percentage, manganese of 0.15 to 0.6 percentage, and phosphorus of 0.025 to 0.4 percentage maximum. Sulfur of maximum 0.15 to 0.04 percentage. Magnesium 0.015 to 0.1 percentage. Coming to the properties. Good machinability, less damping capacity. So spheroidal cast iron has good machinability property, means suitable for machining process. Less damping capacity, nothing but absorbing energy and changing mechanical energy into heat is somewhat less. More resistance to shock or impact loads, nothing but sudden loads or shock loads. It has much resistance. Spheroidal cast iron has much resistance. It has less tendency to thermal cracking. Cracking because of temperature or thermal effects. So this particular metal has less tendency. Ductility is better than the gray cast iron. Nothing but the ductility property is better than the gray cast iron, whereas this particular spheroidal cast iron has better ductility than compared with gray cast iron. So the percentage of elongation is 2 to 17 percentage. Coming to the application, where this particular spheroidal cast iron is suitable. In making of hydraulic cylinders, it is suitable. It is also suitable in manufacturing valves in automobile sector. Manufacturing of valves, it is suitable. Coming to the cylinder heads for compressors and diesel engines, also it is suitable. Engine crankshafts can also be manufactured. Gears also can be manufactured. Connecting rods and high pressure pipes can also be manufactured using this particular spheroidal cast iron. So the next is malleable cast iron. So this particular malleable cast iron is manufactured or made by heat treatment of white cast iron. Whenever we heat treat the white cast iron, it becomes a malleable cast iron. So at a temperature range of 920 to 1000 degrees centigrade, this particular malleable cast iron, nothing but the white cast iron, is heat treated. Holding there for duration of 50 hours after reaching the temperature of 920 to 1000 degrees centigrade temperature, then we need to hold this spheroidal, nothing but we need to hold this for a duration of 50 hours and followed by slow cooling up at room temperature. So malleable cast iron will be manufactured. So now let us move to the techniques used in making of malleable cast iron. Coming to the techniques, first one, black hearth process is suitable. White hearth process is also suitable. Black hearth process, what happens in this process? Let us see. White cast iron castings are packed in a neutral slag or quartz sand. So the whatever the casting parts, nothing but white cast iron castings are there, those are packed in neutral slag or quartz sand. So the heat treatment breaks down the cementite and free carbon takes the shape of rosettes. So these are equally distributed throughout the section. Rosettes are equally distributed throughout the section. So in the white hearth process, it is similar to the black hearth process, but exception is the iron oxide is used for packing the castings. So the free carbon formed takes up a spherical shape stronger than the graphite flakes. So the white hearth process is same as that of black hearth process, except iron oxide is used for packing the castings. Then the free carbon forms takes up the spherical shape. So this is also stronger than the graphite flakes. Now let us move to the composition. Composition of spheroidal cast iron. Carbon is from 2 to 2.8 percentage. Silicon is 0.7 to 1.4 percentage, whereas the manganese has 0.4 to 0.6 percentage and sulfur 0.1 percentage maximum, along with the phosphorus 0.2 percentage maximum. So this is the structure of malleable cast iron. Let us move to the properties of spheroidal cast iron. It has high tensile strength, ductility property is more, it is more malleable also, it has lower melting point, it has greater fluidity at casting temperature. Malleable castings are tough, strong, shock resistance. So coming to the malleable cast iron applications, it is suitable in agricultural implements, automobile parts, manhole covers, railroad equipments, gears, cams and pipe fittings, electrical switch gear castings. So the various types of cast iron. So this diagram we have already discussed. Coming to the cast irons, whenever the cast iron is cooled quickly, then it becomes white cast iron having the carbon in the form of cementite. Whereas whenever the cast iron is cooled slowly, it forms a gray cast iron and the carbon present in the form of flake graphite. So whenever these white cast iron and gray cast iron are heat treated, white cast iron whenever it is heat treated, it forms malleable irons, malleable cast iron. Whereas gray cast iron whenever it is inoculated, nothing but whenever we add magnesium, so whenever we add Mg, so then it becomes nodular and spheroidal cast iron. So this completes the total topics covered or to be total topics covered in this presentation. But let us have a summary of the topics covered in this particular presentation. So initially we have started with the classification of cast iron, starting with the introduction. So what is cast iron? We have understood that it is an alloy of carbon and iron, whereas cast iron refers to the ferrous material in cast form. So nothing but the iron which is suitable for casting process. So based on the four variables we can classify, based on the metallographic structure also we can classify cast iron. So we have discussed the four variables of the cast iron, nothing but the carbon content, alloy and impurity content, cooling rate during and after freezing, heat treatment after casting. So depending upon these four factors, you can classify the cast iron. Coming to the latter, we have discussed about the composition of cast iron, having carbon percentage of 2.5 to 3.7, silica percentage manganese, phosphorus, and sulfur percentages. Later moved on to the properties of cast iron, which has low melting point, 12, maximum up to 1200 degrees centigrade, high fluidity, low shrinkage and cooling. Like that, we have discussed the properties of cast iron. So later we have moved on to disadvantages of cast iron. Coming to the disadvantages of cast iron, it is brittle and it cannot be forged or hardened, and it is weak in tensile strength or tensile property. Coming to the relative damping capacity of steel and iron, we have discussed. Next, what is damping capacity? We have discussed actually. So damping capacity is we have understood that damping capacity is the ability of a material to absorb energy by converting mechanical energy into heat. So we have discussed this diagram. Coming to the production of the cast iron, we have moved to the production of cast iron, in which furnace production of cast iron will be performed. So cast iron is produced by remelting of pig iron in the following furnaces. So pig iron is again remelted in cupola furnace, cupola and electric arc furnace or electric furnace for melting, refining, nothing but duplexing melting method, electric furnace for high quality cast iron, electric furnace for high quality cast iron. So cupola is widely used in foundries since the name indicates cast iron. So iron which is to be casted. So we have next discussed about the existing forms of carbon in cast iron, namely graphite and cementite. So later moved on to this particular diagram where cast irons, whenever cooled quickly, it becomes white cast iron. Whenever it is cooled slowly, then it becomes gray cast iron, we have discussed. So later classified the cast iron. So the first type of cast iron is gray cast iron. Second is white cast iron. Third is malleable cast iron. Fourth is paradiddle cast iron. Fifth is chilled cast iron. Sixth is alloy cast iron. So we have entered into the gray cast iron, discussing some of the factors. What is, how the carbon is present in which form? Carbon presents in the form of graphite flakes. The fracture appears as gray and nothing but the gray appearance. Gray cast irons are hypoeutectic alloys of 2.5 to 4% of carbon. And coming to the torsional shear strength, it has more. And carbon, so coming to the next topic is composition. We have discussed what is the composition of cast iron. So carbon, silicon, manganese, phosphorus percentages we have discussed along with the sulfur. So carbon we have discussed that 2.8 to 3.6, silicon of 1 to 2.7, manganese of 0.4 to 1, phosphorus of 0.1 to 1, sulfur of 0.06 to 0.12. So let us have the next discussion. We have discussed about the microstructure of the gray cast iron. So this is the microstructure of gray cast iron. So this is the indication of the microstructure of gray cast iron. So we have discussed the properties like fairly soft, ready machinable, having low tensile strength and high compressive strength, low melting point, good fluidity, excellent damping capacity, poor shock absorbing or poor shock absorber. Graphite flakes provides lubrication effect to reduce friction. It is suitable for machine tools, beds, like lathe machine bed. So coming to the applications of gray cast iron. So where it is suitable, gray cast iron is suitable for light and integrate castings, various types of shafting, like that elevators and industrial furnace doors, cylindrical blocks for automobile engines, brake drums, and various machine parts we have discussed. Later, we have moved on to the white cast iron, carbon present in the form of cementite, rapid cooling, low silicon and high manganese. So cast iron is 2.5 and hypohectoid alloys carbon. So later discuss about the composition of white cast iron similar to the gray cast iron. Carbon 2.9, silicon 1.15, manganese 0.6 percentage, phosphorus 0.15 percentage, sulfur 0.5 percentage. So like that we have discussed the structure of white cast iron and the properties. Later on move to the applications where it is suitable. It is suitable for resistance, wear resistant, roller for crushers, freight car wheels, railway brake blocks, liners for cement mixers, ball mills, etc. So here, later we have entered into the spheroidal cast iron. So spheroidal, we have understood that spheroidal cast iron is in which a cast iron in which the carbon is in the form of spheroidal or nodular shapes. So later discussed about the how the spherical graphites, nothing but the how these are formed. This is because of addition of magnesium to the molten gray cast iron. The spheroidal cast iron is formed. It is also known as a ductile or nodular gray cast iron. Spheroidal cast iron has good machinability, damping capacity, like that we have discussed the properties. Later move to the composition, properties, and applications. So later discussed malleable cast iron. We have discussed that it is made by heat treatment of white cast iron and certain temperature ranges. What is the holding temperature? We have discussed, and what is the cooling procedure? We have discussed, and the techniques used in making this particular cast iron. So techniques used in making this particular gray cast iron is black hearth process and white hearth process we have discussed. Later on move to the composition of this particular gray cast iron, diagram, properties, applications, and various types of cast iron. So this completes the total presentation. Thank you.